First of all, you will learn about this user registration system. Anyone can register by submitting username, email address and password. After that, we'll send an email, verification email. In that verification email, we'll send a link. If they click on that link, their email will be verified. After verification only, they can log in. We are checking the username, if the username is available or not. If the username is not available, we'll display a message, username not available, or username available. In login system, they can log in with email ID or username, both it will works. After login, they will be redirected to members area. You will learn about this members area also. In this members area, you can edit the details, and we have added a first name and last name, and also they can update their email ID, and they cannot update their username because this username is unique. They can upload their profile picture, and if they want, they can delete their profile picture also. They can change their password from here using a current password and new password. If they forgot their password, they can reset it using a forgot password link. They can simply enter their username or email ID and click on this reset password button. They will get an email, the new password. After logging in, they have to update their password. Hello, this is Vivek. In this video, I am going to discuss about setting up a development environment in your local machine. I am on Mac and I am using XAMPP server applications, XAMPP and htdocs. In this, I am going to create a directory. It's a user management. In this directory, I am going to put all the files, and also I am using Sublime Text Editor. You can download it from Sublime Text website. And if you are on Windows, you can use Notepad++, Eclipse or NetBeans. If you don't know how to set up a web server, you can watch our videos. Installation of a XAMPP server in Mac and WAMP server in Windows 7. By following those videos, you can install a web server on your computer. From next video onwards, I'm going to work on user registration part. Hello, this is Vivek. In this video, I'm going to work on creating user registration HTML form. First of all, I'll open our project in Sublime Text Editor just by dragging our directory into this editor. Presently, we don't have any files in our project directory. I'll create those files. In this video, I'm going to create a HTML form. For that, I'll write basic HTML mockup. Inside head section, I'll add a title tag and next body. Inside this title tag, I'll put a text line. Theme of our web page, user registration script in PHP and MySQL. I'll save this file as register.php in our user management directory. Inside applications, XAMPP, htdocs, user management, and the name of the file is register.php. Now inside this body tag, I'll add HTML. I'm not going to write this form HTML. I already created this form HTML. It's in my website. I'm just going to copy this and paste it. I'm pasting it here. I'll load this in a browser. Localhost. And register.php. After opening this page in a web browser, we are getting an empty page. That is because here I am not closing this title tag. It's a simple markup error. I'll reload this. It's a simple HTML form. I'll add a styles. After that I'll explain. I'll load a bootstrap styles from the CDN, Content Delivery Network, inside this head section right after title. And also I'll load some custom styles to style our form. I'll create a styles.php file. We are loading bootstrap styles from maxcdn.bootstrapcdn.com. These two files, bootstrap min file and bootstrap theme.min file. And here is a bootstrap JSS file. And this is our custom styles. I am going to add these custom styles. I already have in my website. I just copied it, these styles. And I am going to create a new CSS file, new file, and save it as a styles.css inside our user management directory. And I am going to paste these styles. I'll reload the form. This is just a simple form with username field and email address, password, the registration button, and login anchor link. I'll show the code behind this. This is a simple div. Inside this div we have form opening and closing tag, form opening, form closing, and the method is post. You are submitting the data of this form using a post method, and h2 for displaying intention of this form. Please register, because this is a register.php file. We want users to register here on this page. And input group, this is a username. For showing @ symbol, we are using this span HTML tag. For that we are applying input group add-on clause. These are bootstrap styles, so that's why this is looking like this username field. After that we have email address. This is just a simple label and input field type email, and the name of the input field is email. For username input field, it's a type text and the name is username. And for password, it is also contains just a label and input field, and the type is password, name also password. After that a submit button, value a button text of a register, and next anchor link. We are going to create this login page after a couple of videos for logging in the user. For now I'll save this and reload it in browser. Already we have loaded. In the next video I am going to create a database table to work on our register.php file. Hello, this is Vivek. In this video I am going to create a database table using PHPMyAdmin. If you have a XAMPP or WAMP, you can directly open this PHPMyAdmin, or if you are on a web server like a cPanel hosting, you can open this PHPMyAdmin. And here I have demo database. I am going to create our table in this one. Before that we'll plan the database, what fields we require. I'll create a new file. We need an ID column to identify usernames and email IDs. And next we have username field. We need username and email for storing email address, and password for storing password. And I'll add one more field, that is active, to know whether the user is active or not. And this id field is primary key and auto increment, and the username is unique. It's varchar, and email also unique. We're going to store these two columns as unique, and varchar type, password also varchar, and active is a boolean. I'm going to create this table using these 5 columns. I will create a table name as user management. Number of columns 5. ID, it's integer type, and length 11, and index is primary, auto increment. Next, username varchar, length is 255, it's a unique. Email type varchar, length 255, and email is also unique. Password varchar, length 255. Next, active column, it's a type of boolean. I'll check once all the data is correct or not. After checking, I'll click on this save button. Click on save. This table will be created. It's already created. And the structure, ID is a primary, auto increment, it's a username, unique field, and the email is also unique. Password varchar, and active, it's a boolean. In the next video, I am going to work on connecting to database in PHP. Hello, this is Vivek. In this video, I am going to work on connecting to database in PHP. For that, I am going to create a file with the name of connect.php. I'll remove this text and save this file as connect.php. Command S, or click on this save button. In our user management directory in exam htdocs, for a PHP file, we need to open a PHP block, and we have to close this PHP block. And next, for connecting to database, we are going to use 2 functions, that is mysqli_connect and mysqli_select_db. We are going to use these 2 functions. First function, mysqli_connect, requires 3 arguments. One is a host name, database username, and db password, database user password. And mysqli_select_db expects a connection link and database name, db name. For now, I'll comment this second function, that is mysqli_select_db. I'll only work on this first function, mysqli_connect. I'll replace these with the real values. Hostname is a local host. It's a string. We need to use quotation mark. You can use a single quotation marks, double quotation marks. Localhost. DB user is database user is root. And in this I haven't configured any password for this DB, so I am using a blank for password, and I will assign this MySQL underscore connect to a variable, and the name of the variable is connection. You can use this connection variable in other MySQL functions. I will load this in a browser so that you can check the errors. If it's an empty page, we are able to successfully connect. Otherwise, we'll get an error. It's an empty page. That means we are successfully connecting. I'll check this by adding some password or changing the username or root to some other. Here we got error. MySQL underscore access denied for user root localhost using password yes. That means without using this password we are able to successfully connect. I want to display custom error message if it's failed to connect. End this statement using semicolon, and I am opening an if block. If not connection, echo. End this statement. Failed to connect database. I'll check by entering password. We should get the custom message failed to connect database. If we turn off all our error messages in PHP configuration file, then we can identify the problem by using this code. Next, I'll work on MySQL underscore select DB. It expects it 2 arguments. First one is connection, and next one is a database name. Our database name is a demo. I'll simply pass this and I'll store this in a variable called db select, and I'll use the same if block. I'll change these variables and a custom message failed to select DB database. Syntax error, that is here semicolon is missing. Unexpected if on line number 7, that means here. Still I am using this password. It's able to connect. I'll change this to something else, demo1. Failed to select database. To get a correct exact message, I'll add 2 more functions, die and MySQL underscore error. Die function is to stop the execution of this page. And MySQL underscore error expects one argument, that is connection, and we have to concatenate this because we are using it with a string. Unknown database demo1. It's showing an exact message. If I change it, it's working. We can add this to our database connection also. If we face any problem, we'll get this message. Till now we are able to successfully connect to our database and selecting the database. In the next video I am going to work on user registration logic. Hello, this is Vivek. In this video I am going to work on user registration logic. First of all, I will open a PHP block in our register.php file and I'll check the post superglobal using print_r function $_post and this statement. I'll submit this form and I'll check whether we're getting the values or not. Load register.php file in our browser. We are getting an empty array because we have not submitted the form. We'll submit it. We are getting the data. Username is submitted data and email also same and password. We are getting all these three values and I am going to assign these three values into variables. Username variable for storing username value. And this statement. Email variable. Password variable to store password. In the statement, I'll echo these variables. I'll comment this print_r function. I'll add a breaks also after each one so that we can see in individual lines. I'll copy this. I'll reload this page without submitting the form. You're able to get all these details. If I reload this page, you can see errors, undefined index. We are seeing these errors because these values are not defined because we haven't submitted the form. I am going to fix these errors by writing a if condition. If this block opens here and closes here. I am going to use two functions, isSet and not empty. isSet and empty. isSet $_post. We are checking is this post superglobal is set and not empty. It's not empty. We want this value to set and it shouldn't be empty. Then we'll assign these variables. I'll reload the form. We shouldn't see this error message. If the form is submitted, then only we are going to see the values. This is working fine, and I'll remove these echoes. And the logic behind user registration is we need to insert the submitted data into our database table. Next, I am going to write the SQL query based on this user inputted values. I am assigning this SQL query in SQL variable. Insert into table user management, and the columns username, email, password, and the values are username variable, email variable, password variable. I have to use quotation marks. We are using double quotes outside so that we can use single quotes inside. Username, email, password. I'll echo this SQL statement. I'll resubmit this form. Unexpected SQL on line 7. Yeah, it's a typo mistake, echo. Insert it into user management table. Username, email, password, and the values are these three. It's a correct SQL query. I'm going to insert this into database table. Database using MySQL underscore query. Before that, we need to include our connect.php file for connecting to database using require underscore once. Connect.php. I'll reload the page to check whether are there any mistakes or not. We are able to successfully connect. I'll insert this data into database table using MySQL underscore query. And it expects two arguments. One is a connection, and the other one is SQL query. I'll store this in result variable. If the result is successful, we are going to display user registered successfully, else user registration failed. Failed to register or user registration failed. In the statement using semicolon, reload the page. I am going to register the user by submitting this form. If I click on this register button, this data will be inserted into database table. Now there are no rows, 0 rows. If I click on register, user registered successfully, if I click on this browse button, we should see a row. This data inserted, username, email, and password. In the next video, I am going to work on securing user registration from hacks. Hello, this is Vivek. In this video, I am going to work on securing user registration form from hacks. We have two issues here in this user registration.php file. One is we are storing all these passwords in plain text. It's a bad idea and it's not a secure method to store passwords in plain text. We should use hashing algorithms to store password, because even website owners shouldn't know the user password. It should be secure. And the next issue is it's vulnerable to SQL injection. We are going to fix those two issues now, and we are going to explore more about SQL injection other videos. For now, I'll just fix the problem. To secure these passwords, we are going to use a MD5 hashing algorithm. I'll just apply this MD5 hashing algorithm to post super global before assigning it to password variable. It's done. I'll comment this SQL query. I'm going to just echo this SQL query. Click on register. It's a hashed password. Our password is. I'll uncomment these statements and removing this echo. I'll create a new user, Vivek1, and Vivek1 at codingcyber.com. Password is Vivek123. Click on register. User registered successfully. If I check here, it should be encrypted password. It's encrypted. Hashing key. And the next issue we can fix it by using MySQLi_real_escape_string PHP function. This function expects two arguments. One is a DB connection link, and other argument is our string. I'm directly applying this to post super global before assigning it to username variable and email variable. I'll apply this to email variable. We have fixed these two issues. In the next video, I am going to work on remembering form data upon failed registration. Hello, this is Vivek. In this video, I am going to work on remembering form data upon failed registration. That means if anyone is submitting this form with any problem, if the script is not able to register the user, then the user has to fill the form again. This is a simple form with the 3 user input fields. If the form has lot of input fields like 15 or 20, 25, then it will be difficult to fill the form again for user. For that purpose, we are going to use this feature, remembering form data. I'll try to submit a wrong record. This is going to be fail anyway because these records exist in our database. We are using unique for our database columns, so this data won't be inserted into our database and we'll get an error message. Fail to register user. In a previous video, we have some issue. MySQL_real_escape_string expects 2 parameters on line 5. This one. I'll just add connection. I have submitted wrong details. It's a fail to register user, but I have to submit the form again. We are going to fix this issue by end of this video. We have already these variables, username variable and email variable. I am just going to echo this, print these variables in a value section of our user input field. Sorry, this is the email field. I am going to copy this code and paste it in the username field. It's a username variable. And I am not going to remember this password because it's not a secure method and it's already encrypted with the MD5 hashing algorithm. I'll write this in browser. This is undefined index error. This we can fix by writing if condition. If is set username and not empty. If is set $username and not empty. I'll reload this in browser. This username field error will be disappear. Yes, that's working. I'll use the same code for email also. This code wrapped into new line. And not empty. I'll reload our web page. Email error also will disappear. I'll submit the form with the same values what I have submitted previously. Now you can see you are getting these values again even after form submission. In the next video I am going to work on adding password and password again fields. Hello, this is Vivek. In this video I am going to work on adding password and password again fields in our registration form. While registering a user, if I submit a wrong password, it will be registered with the wrong password. And if user doesn't remember that password or if it's a typing mistake, then user don't know until he resets the password. For fixing that issue, I am adding one more extra field for checking this password field. I am going to add two password fields. One is a password, another one is a retype password or password again. After submitting the form, we'll check both values. If both values matches, then only we are going to move to the next step, like inserting our data into database or something else. Here I am going to add an extra password field. I am copying this password input field code, pasting it below the password input field. I'll change this label name to password again, and also name of the input field, password input field to password again. I'll reload this form and placeholder text. It's displaying, but there is a slight gap between these two input fields, password fields. I'll fix this later. For now I'll work on the PHP code. I'll assign this input field value to variable, and the name of the variable is password again. Here also we have to update this post super global password again. and I'll write an if condition. If password double equals to password again, that means we are comparing these two passwords. Echo password matches, else password not matching. And this statement using semicolon. I'll check this code. I'm entering password as password and password. If I click on this register button, we should say password matches. Password matches. If I try with a different password and password 123, we should see an error message, password not matching. It's working correct. And if it's a success, if the password matches, then only we are going to insert this data into our database. Otherwise, we'll just display an error message. I'll indent this code. If the password matches, then only we are going to insert it. I'll create a new user. With the username of Vivek 2. Password is password. If I click on register, I should be able to register this user because I am entering the password. Same. User registered successfully. Even after successful registration also, we are getting the form data filled. I'm going to fix this issue later. I'm going to register a new user with not the same password. You can see the length. It's not the same. You should see an error message, password not matching. So password matches, then only it will insert the user. And upon failed registration, you can see the data. But upon successful registration, we don't want to display any data in form. In the next video, I am going to work on this error messages. Hello, this is Vivek. In this video, I am going to work on handling error messages. Here in our code, we are just echoing our messages. If it's a success message or a failure message, I want to display in HTML body section. For doing that, we have to assign these success and failure messages to variables. Or else if we have a lot of error messages or success messages, we can use arrays also. But for now, I'll use variables because we don't have that much of errors or success messages. We have only 3 messages, 2 failure messages and 1 success message. For that, I'll add some HTML code in div class container above form tag. Here I have already created this HTML code. It's already in my website. I'll copy it. This is just a basic bootstrap code. I'll remove this PHP code. I'll write it from scratch. I'll indent this code. These are just two simple divs with a class of alert success, and alert danger. I'll load this file in a browser. I'll reload our register.php file in browser. Here you can see alert success is in green color and alert danger is in this red color. So I'll display success message in this green and failure message in this red div. I'll assign our message to variables. I'll use two variables. One is S message for success message and F message for failure message. These are the two variables. I'll assign this success message to S message, and this is a failure message, F message. This is also failure message, F message. I'll just use echo code to display S message. And this is F message. We are seeing this undefined variable because we have to write a if condition. If we set S message and if we set F message, that code I'll write, but before that I'll submit it with some dummy data. Fail to register user, and if it's a success message it will be defined, but we want to show based on our failure message only if it's a set and success message only if it's a set. For that I'll write a PHP code around this div. If is set $S message close this if condition. After closing div, this is done. I'll reload it. This green div should disappear. It's working, and I'll write the same code for this alerted danger div. F message now this should also disappear. I'll submit a fail to register. I'll submit wrong password not matching, and if the user successfully registered, then we should see green message. User registered successfully. In the next video, I am going to work on username and email checking in database. Hello, this is Vivek. In this video, I am going to work on username and email checking in database. Till now, if anyone is submitting the form with the same data that exists in our database, we are showing an error message user registration failed. I want to show a specific message. If user submitted username exists in our database, it will display error message. Username already exists. Please try a different username. If the user submitted email address exists in our database, it will display a similar message. Email already exists in our database. Please try to use a different email address, or please reset your password. For that, I am going to write some PHP code right after this password checking if condition. I'll take the username input field value and write an SQL query to select data from database. If the username exists in our database, it'll display an error message and we don't run this insert query. If the username does not exist, Then we'll run this SQL query. First of all, I'll write the SQL query. Username SQL. Select star from user where username $username. This SQL query is going to work. I know that. I'm not going to use echo for this SQL query and I'm not going to test it. I'll directly write MySQL underscore query function. First argument is connection. Next, SQL. Username SQL. I'll store this in result variable. Username res. I'll check the count. If a count equals to 1, then we are not going to insert this data. MySQL underscore numbers. Expects 1 argument. Username res. Echo this count. Syntax error on line number 10. Semicolon is missing. I'll resubmit. Count is 1. This record exists in our database. I'll display a custom error message. If count double equals to 1, I'll assign this error message to fMessage variable. Please try different username. I'll concatenate this fMessage. Before concatenating, we need to have a fMessage variable defined. Reload. I'll submit with the same values. Username exists in database. Please try different username. Fail to register user. If I try different password not matching, we are getting these errors, but we are getting in the same line. We can fix that later. Next, we need to work on checking email. I'll use the same code. Just change the variables. I'll give some gap to identify the code easily. I'll indent this. I'll write this SQL variable as email SQL. Email res. email count, email exists in our database. Please reset your password. And next we need to change this SQL query, and the variable is email. I have successfully modified this query. I'll check this. I'll reload this file. Same username, same email ID. Username exists in database. Please try different username. Email exists in database. Please reset your password. Failed to register user. We are getting all this in one line because we are not using any line breaks here. We are just concatenating to fmsa variable. In the next video, I am going to work on setting up a PHP mailer to send emails in our script. Hello, this is Vivek. In this video, I am going to work on setting up a PHP mailer to send emails. For that, first of all, you need to download a PHP mailer. Click on this GitHub link. You can download it from here. Download zip. I have already downloaded and copied it into project directory. Here it is, PHP mailer master.zip. I'll extract these files. It's extracted. I'll rename it as a PHP mailer instead of a PHP mailer master. You have to include this file, PHP mailer autoload.php file, in our register.php or wherever we want to use PHP mailer. PHP mailer is a PHP library to send emails. We can get a sample code from PHP mailer page. Scroll down. Here it is. I'm going to copy all this code. Copy. Paste it into our project. We'll send an email to user when the registration is successful. I'm adding this PHP mailer to send a verification emails. Means to verify user email, I'll send an verification link. If the user clicks on that link, that email will be verified, then the account will be activated. For that purpose, we are using this PHP mailer library. I'm going to paste it here. I'll remove all the unnecessary code and I'll indent. I'll fast forward this editing process. I have completed all the formatting and removed all the unnecessary lines. Now I am going to create a config.php file and I'll store all the configuration variables in that file, like a hostname and SNTP, authentication username and password, because here I am using Amazon SES service, simple email service for sending emails. I'm also using that service on a couple of websites. I'll remove this and put a variable SMTP host. SMTP user, SMTP pass, I'll define these 3 variables in our config.php file. I'll save this as I'm opening a PHP block and closing it. SMTP post SMTP user SMTP pass. I'm going to copy these variables from a different file and copy and paste these variables. I have copied and pasted all the variables, all the necessary variables. I will include this file in our register.php file using include PHP function. Sig.php and sent from email ID is my company email ID. It's info@pixelw3.com, and I'll change email from name also. And the 2 email address is my email address. I'll put a static email. In next videos we are going to make this as a dynamic, that is user email ID. And the port, we have to change the port also, SNTP port. It's a different port for my Amazon SES server. It's a 465 and security method is SSL. I'll run this file in a browser and I'll register a user, because if the user registers successfully, then only this code will execute and will send an email. I'll check this to test whether we are getting any email or not. Fail to open. Problem is I have to change the path. It's in a directory, PHP mailer directory. If I resubmit, it should work. Username exists in database, it's already inserted data. After inserting, it's trying to send an email. That's failed. Message has been sent. User registered successfully. And it's a previous message. If I check my email, I should receive a new email. Here it is. I got this email from Amazon SES, from address and to address. In the next video, I am going to work on activating user by email.